Okay, we have officially finished my homework, edited a video, and finished my essay. So you know what that means? I'm rewarding myself with Bella Swan.
Yep, that's me.
Hello beautiful bookish people, my name is Hannah, and today we're doing a very exciting reading vlog for Eclipse. Do we have a special guest? Lady! That was perfect timing, and I love you for that. Thank you for being considerate. So, if you don't know, I've never read Twilight as a kid. And so today, as a 22-year-old woman, I am reliving those angsty teen years through the Twilight books and documenting my experience with you. Wow. Do I have any predictions? Victoria better come back. Is there gonna be a marriage talk, maybe? We'll see if Jacob will continue to be kind of a butt. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'm excited. I hear this is the fan favorite. So, let's go. Okay, we have finished chapter 1, but for this time there's definitely going to be spoilers. So, I think we were 2.5 seconds into the book, and Jacob is already being a butt. Flashback to the intro, please. We'll see if Jacob will continue to be kind of a butt. So, we start out chapter 1 with this letter from Jacob, and he's like writing to Bella and crossing out what he wants to say. It's so passive aggressive. Like there's some of them are like, what part of mortal enemies is too complicated? And then he crosses it out. And he ends it with, I miss you, too. A lot. Doesn't change anything. Sorry, Jacob. Like, what kind of person leaves in all the passive-aggressive comments in order to manipulate Bella? No, thank you. Not a fan of that. Oh, Bella's grounded because of obvious reasons. She went to Italy without telling her dad from the previous book. So I think a grounding is quite fair, honestly. Okay, so Charlie is reading in the newspaper that there's this killer gang up in Seattle, and then Edward reveals, oh, they're in fact vampires. Imagine, like a mob book about vampires. I would be here for that. So yeah, we leave chapter 1, and we're apparently going to visit Jacob. Same. Why do we gotta do that? I don't know. That's all I have to say. There was a lot. There's always a lot in the first chapter, apparently. Alright. So we have finally visited Jacob Black. It took us a long time, Bella and I. As if I'm in the story. And Bella makes the understatement of the world. She says to Jake, you know, it really bugs me that you guys are trying to kill each other. No kidding, it bugs you. I'm sorry. We have to think of a better word, Bella. And Jake was like, yeah, I'm still human, but I don't age. And I was like, one of these things is not like the other? What? How does that make sense? This is a really minute detail, but Bella is a Virgo, and I can see that. I'm about 150 pages in, which I think is pretty solid. Also, fun fact, I do have a bad knee. The more you know. Okay, so let me catch you up on what you've missed.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
So we've got Rosalind's backstory, which was actually really sad. She apparently was going to marry this prince, and he seemed to be all things good. He's Prince Charming, he's rich, and all that stuff. But she comes home one night, and he's drunk with his friends, and you know, they weren't explicit about it, but they think they took advantage of her, definitely. And so Carlisle saved her, and she has this conversation with Bella that's kind of weird. She's like, you have everything I have ever wanted in the palm of your hands if you just stay human. And I'm like, girl, that's not your decision. Just because you want a baby doesn't mean we have to want a baby. That's your motives, not my motives. It was like really weird. I did not like it. Her backstory, I am sorry for her. And I'm glad we have like more sympathy for her and all that stuff, explaining why she is the way she is. And apparently there's been a scandal in the werewolves pack. Quill has imprinted on this girl named Claire, and the problem is that she's 2.
Gross. You nasty.
Ugh! Let me tell you, when I saw that with my Christian eyes, I had a heart attack. I hated that. Just, Thank you. And Jacob tries to explain it and say like, oh, nothing's gonna happen till he's older, but it's still so weird. But then some like random vampire is in Bella's room, and we're not sure if it's Victoria or what's happening, and so we're gonna have to keep closer eyes on her. And that's where I'm at right now. It's a 500-page chunker, but I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye. And a lot has happened. I've read a lot, so I need a lot to catch you up on. I think this is the book of backstories, because we get the backstory of Rosalind, we get the backstory of the tribe, another one. And then we get the backstory of Jasper. And fun fact, Jasper is a Texan. And as soon as we find that out, we find out he's a Confederate.
Did a full 180, crazy.
So it was a high and a low. If you don't know, I'm Texan, so I'm a little partial. I don't know about you, but Jacob keeps getting worse. He forcefully kisses Bella without her consent, and when she tries to get him off, boom, punches her in the face, and ouch, our arm is broken. So we gotta go to Carlisle. And so we're upset at Jacob for obvious reasons. I would be too. But as I'm standing right now, I don't know if I want her to end up with either of them. Right now I'm Team Alice. Bella and Alice 2020. So that's where we are right now. Hopefully I might be able to finish it today, which would be great for me. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, here's the thing. One part of me understands why Eclipse is so slow, because at the end of the day, it's a romance, so therefore it's more about the characters, and the other half of me is like, where's Victoria? Because if you count New Moon, I've read about at least 800 pages, and Victoria is still not here, which is fine. It's not like I'm salty. One of my favorite things about like the Twilight books are like the little anecdotes that we get about the characters, and my favorite, at least from Eclipse, is that apparently Edward is going to take night courses, which of course makes sense. And I think why it's so funny to me is because I'm also taking night courses this semester, and so I was like, who would be the vampire in my class? And then it came upon me that, oh yeah, it would be me, because I'm the palest. So, a little update that aren't just about anecdotes. As we remember, someone came into Bella's room without Alice's knowledge, and we think it's the Seattle gang mixed with Victoria. So obviously somebody just really wants Bella dead. I don't really have the brain cells right now to predict who it is, but it's probably just Victoria. And so, one of my favorite tropes is happening where two enemies, meaning the werewolves and the vampires, are having to come together to protect the bigger looming threat. It's like when Sparta protected Athens from the Phoenicians, and then boom, we're gonna take down the Phoenicians, just like we're gonna take down that whatever Seattle gang, mob, whatever. It's Victoria. We know it is. Okay, so apparently chapter 20 is where the marriage proposal happens. It's kind of interesting because they're both mutually trying to manipulate each other. Game of Thrones who? And it's interesting because I think it's a really good subversion of what we're used to hearing about, like, marriage and also sex conversations in YA, because essentially Edward is the one who is trying to keep his virtue, if you will, and usually that is kept for the girls. So I really liked that it's flipped, because we usually equate that to the female. Essentially, when a girl loses her virginity, she's no longer pure, she's no longer innocent. But in this conversation, it's Edward, which I don't think a lot of YA does. Is it the best marriage proposal? No, because they're both trying to manipulate each other to get what they want. But maybe they're both Slytherins. I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna get back to reading. Okay, we have finished Eclipse, and I have to say, that was very anticlimactic. I waited about 800 pages for Victoria. Like, New Moon is complete setup. Eclipse is complete setup for the return of Victoria, the overarching plot. I will say the romance is obviously why we read these books, but the overarching plot is Victoria, and she comes in about 500 pages, and it's literally resolved in 50 pages. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, and I'm like, Victoria, I was rooting for you.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
I needed like a Six of Crows moment where not everything in the heist goes right. I needed somebody to get captured. And yeah, Jacob got hurt, but like, who's surprised? You can see my allegiance is strong.
It's the one and only Digo Double.
The very last chapter is Jacob. And I'm like, what? We can switch POVs? Stephanie Meyer! That would have made this book so much more interesting! Imagine. Imagine all the people. I'm happy Victoria was here, but that has to be the least intimidating villain I think I've ever seen. Here's the thing. I also feel like people are unwilling to talk about Twilight unironically. Like, they're afraid they're gonna get judged. And I don't vibe with that energy. As long as you're able to acknowledge the flaws in the Twilight Saga and talk about it openly, I think that's a good conversation. This is good. It feels really cathartic to just talk about Eclipse. But people only really bring up Twilight to make fun of it, and I think we need to get over that. I'm tired of seeing that on my timeline. But on that note, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Keep reading and all that jazz. And a lot doesn't change, but and a lot. Wait. Perfect. We love a sitting dog. Why didn't y'all tell me Eclipse is gonna make me so uncomfortable? I'm offended. Because no one can tell me otherwise. Anna Kendrick is the best part of those Twilight movies. Hey, I love you. Baby doll, when it comes to a lover, I promise that you'll never find another like me. Thank you. Thank you, Edward, for realizing your stupidity. I don't even know if I could trust people who are Team Jacob after this.